Hi everyone, it's Lynette with Charmed Grammy Crochet. This is video number 2 for this evening, but you'll see this in another day or so. So thanks for joining me again. Soon I'll be filming in the iron room, I think, but not today. It's dark in there at this time of the day. It's in the late or early evening, and it's best to film in there in the morning. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. Thanks to all of my returning subscribers. Thanks to anyone new. If you don't mind, give me a thumbs up. Oh, everybody can give me a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate that. And hit the subscribe button if you like what you see here. It's very helpful if you do that. So thanks so much. I have just, to steal a term from some other podcasters, this is going to be a crochet catch-up because I haven't done one in a minute. So let's see, I was at the campground over the weekend and my friend gave me this wonderful bag. Look at it. It's elephants abound all over it. Isn't it cool? It's a crossbody, but it's a little short for me for crossbody. But it's long for purse, but it's great for projects. It's got a zipper on the front. It zips closed, and there's a little pouch and a zipper pouch on the inside. So that will be a great new project bag. I'm very excited about it. I will be starting a new project when I'm done filming. I'm going to be testing another testing project. So I am going to go put yarn in this when this video is over for the testing project, and that's going to be the new project bag for it. So I'm very excited about this, and thanks so much to my friend. You know, everybody knows I collect elephants, so elephants are easy to buy for me. Then I just want to catch up on some projects, so hold please. There's my bottle of water I've been looking all over for. We're at the camper over the weekend, and I knew I had a bottle of water in the car with me. It ended up in that bag, and I forgot. I put it in that bag when I was crocheting on this on my way home. In this project is my, it's in this bag. And this is just a bag I picked up maybe in New Orleans. I don't remember where I got this bag. But it's a decent size and holds a great deal of yarn. And in here is the stained glass. This is called the Polychromatic pattern by Bag O' Day. It is the challenge blanket I am working on for Boggy Creek. The challenger is Jan, an Alaskan crafter, my good friend. So the problem is, Jan, I think I might have bit off more than I can chew because this project is just going so slowly for me. I don't know why. The pattern is easy and pretty. This is what it's looking like. This is the size of it so far. I am using a worsted weight yarn. It's a thin worsted, the dark brown, you know, the variegated brown is a thin worsted, but the cream color is Big Twist, so I wouldn't consider that a thin worsted. But I don't want to pull out my stitches. Don't do that. I did not put a stitch marker in. This is what it's looking like so far. It shrunk up. It's not as big as what it was going to be. You know, what my original foundation chain was. I did a foundation single crochet. The pattern called for, you know, chain so many and then go back and single crochet. I didn't do that. I did a foundation single crochet because I like that better. So anyway, it shrunk up a lot, and I've heard other people that are making the same pattern say the same thing. Theirs shrunk up a lot. But that's okay. I've already figured out how I'm going to do the border. I think I'm going to, you know, border all the way around. I'm not going to do the border that Crystal did because it's a small border. It's like a 1 row or maybe 2. I'm going to need bigger than that. So I think I'm going to do a row of half doubles in the cream color, then a row of doubles, and then a row of half doubles. And if I need more, you know, I'll just add to it to make it wide enough. I'm sure I can make the length that it needs to be without any problem. But the width is a little bit of my problem. And it's going really slowly. And I didn't think I was a very slow crocheter, but this project is just dragging for me. And I'm having a really hard time keeping up with it, wanting to do it. So I've decided you are supposed to, the pattern calls for a lot of single crochets. And when I started doing the pattern, I'm like, oh God. So I've decided that, and it's mosaic, so you go one way and then you change color on the, if you go one way there on this pattern, you do one row of a pattern and then one row of a single crochet back and change your color. And so you can carry your color up the side, your opposite color, which is awesome. And it's not a bunch of strings, and it's neat even. I mean, there are, you won't be able to tell probably through the camera's eye too well, but there's, a little chain going up the side there. Just, but when you do your, border, cover that up very easily with no issues. It's very neat on the side, and I give Crystal a lot of kudos for that. So I did 15 rows of the dark, of the variegated, and I swear to God, I feel like I've spent 100 hours on this. I know I have not. I put in a couple of rows at a time, It's just going real slow. And the cream color is single crochet both ways with this drop down stitch, and I'm like, oh God. Single crochet for a blanket, I mean, to me that's a lot of crochet. So I did the 15 rows of the variegated, and then I decided it's going way not quick enough. So on the return row, I am doing half doubles now, and I'm going to do half doubles until it is, I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to measure where my 15 rows, how long that is to do 15 rows of the variegated. And when it gets to about that, plus a little short of 2 inches, so if this measures 18 inches, I'm going to go till it gets to, like, it has to be no longer than 50 inches. So when it gets to about 30 or so 30 inches, then I'm going to switch it from the half doubles back to the singles that it's supposed to go. But I figure that will help me work it a little bit faster, and it's not going to be that noticeable in the pattern itself. So that's, and then if I go back to the singles at the end, it'll work out. I think the pattern is really pretty, and I really like it. Like, it's a stained glass look, but I really like it even if you were doing it like this, and stained glass doesn't have to be black in the middle. Even on real stained glass, you can get different colors, including silver, if you didn't put any stain on the lead that holds the stained glass together, and copper, and so there's different colors. But in mine, in this blanket, it is the cream color. So this challenge was issued by Jan, the Alaskan crafter, and to help increase, and Laura, who happens to be at the bottom of a lot of stuff, love her to death. Laura says she can't make a blanket in a month. So Jan challenged her and then the yarn community to make a stained glass blanket from September 1st through September 30th. If you complete your blanket by September 30th and email Jan a picture of the stained glass blanket that you made, and she has 4 patterns plus a square pattern, so 5 patterns. 3 of them are bag o' day, including the square pattern, which I have been told that by Jaxie from Creations by Jax, that Jax contacted, and you guys, I think this is the coolest thing ever. Jax contacted Crystal and told her about Jan's challenge, and asked if she could make a pattern for a square, a stained glass looking square. And within 24 hours, Crystal had that video up and running, and I just am thrilled and awed and amazed by her talent. With the tutorial, I mean, she had a tutorial for it, designed up and tutorial in 24 hours. it takes me like 3 weeks to figure out how to start a tutorial. um, so thank you so much for that, Jaxie and Crystal. Oh my gosh, Crystal, I can't believe that you would do that. I do want to make those squares, but I started this before the squares came out. So I will link the square pattern, and this pattern's already in several of all my videos from the whole month. But I will link the square pattern from Bag O' Day in the description box as well. So I appreciate that. Then of course there's Laura and her 17 squares. So don't forget about those. That's the Double Duck Dare Challenge. You have until October 15th to send in 15 squares to Lynanne. I don't want to keep repeating. I'm sure, you know, like you guys get tired of this. But just a reminder that you have till October 15th to get your squares in to Lynanne in the quantities of 17, multiples of 17, with a note that says Laura sent you and quack quack. And then Laura has to go into Square Hell, Granny Square Hell, and make 3 squares for every 17 you send in. She'll send in 3. And if you say quack quack, she may or may not send in extra. So that's all to help Camp Boggy Creek, which is a camp in Florida for the chronically ill children. And their videos are listed in the description box as well. If you don't know them, I don't want to dwell on it, but at this time of year, this is our 2nd annual drive that I'm doing with Billy the Crafty Floridian and Nancy from She's Got Yarn too. It was her mom that got us started in this wonderful, wonderful donation drive. So everything pretty much that I'm doing at this time of the year is geared towards Boggy Creek. Well, a lot of it is anyway. So now let's get caught up on the other blanket that I'm doing for Boggy Creek. And this is because Laura, well, let's start with the one I'm not doing for Boggy Creek. Laura double dog dared. This, so the squares are a double duck dare. I already sent my 17 squares in. But she double dog dared a while ago to make, this is a crochet pattern by Mama in a Stitch, a knit pattern, to knit a blanket, and it's called the Fall Chunky Cuddler. This is what it looks like completed. I hope I got that in the picture. No, if I don't, there it is. And this is my notes page where I'm keeping track. It's a sampler, and it's knit, and you make it with it's supposed to be a 6-weight yarn. I'm using a 5-weight yarn, 10 millimeter, and I don't know what the number for actual size is, but it's 10 millimeter circular hook needles. And so she double dog dared, or maybe this was a triple dog dare. She's good at daring you. So this was a dare to make this blanket. And we are now more than halfway done. We should be done, I think, the beginning of November. I don't remember. We're doing 4 rows a week at this point. Laura's in charge. I just do what I'm told. So this is what mine is looking like. And there's lots of mistakes. I'm just learning to knit. This is my first knit project. Besides wash rag that didn't turn out square, it looks more like a stingray. So so now we are at, I moved up my lifeline. The red line in here is my lifeline, and now we're doing these things again, the yarn over 2 together things. And this is what my blanket is looking like. I am using a discontinued Yarn Bee Lots of Dots yarn, soft and squishy. I love this pattern. I love doing the knit stitch, which when you do a bunch of them, I'm sure it has another name, gardener stockinette. I don't know. But it gives you all the little V's on the one side and all the little bumps on the other side, and I really like it. The V's are supposed to be the front side when you're doing the knit stitch, but you know, to me, it's pretty reversible because I like it with the bumpy side too. So this is, I haven't shown this for a minute, but we're through with all of the little V section, and now we're on the fillet section. And then I think, since we're working backwards, then I think we do another bumpy section where it's bumpy on both sides. I don't know. I didn't do that section right because I was just figuring out what is a knit and what is a purl. But I did this section mostly, I think, correct. This section is good. I think this section is pretty good where we have bumpy on both sides. So as I progress, I was getting much better. I didn't rip anything out because this is a first time project. I'm just a beginning knitter, like I said, and I don't care if it's not perfect. It's just, for me, it's not going to be perfect. I'm not expecting it to be perfect. I just this past weekend learned how to fix a dropped stitch, which, knock on wood, I have not, to the best of my knowledge, dropped a stitch in any of this. I've been like really careful. So I am loving it 110%. I liked it so much that I thought I am going to knit a blanket for Boggy Creek. So, ladies and gentlemen, I started knitting a blanket. And I'm just going to do the V stitches all the way. It's just V stitch, V stitch, V stitch. So it's knit on one side, knit going across, and then you do the purl stitch coming back. And that's called the V stitch. Or the, I don't know what it's called. But that's what I'm doing because I want the whole thing to look like V's on the one side. Because I love the look of that, and I want to be able to make a sweater. I have, since I started doing fiber arts, I have always wanted to be able, I don't do very many wearables, by the way. Not that I don't want to. They never turn out to fit me, first of all. If I make them for myself, they never turn out the right size. I don't know why, but I have learned that if you're going to make something that has panels, you have to do both panels at the same time. If it's got 3 panels, you know, like a left side, a right side, and a back, you have to do a couple rows all at the same time. So do 2 rows on each panel. That way, if you're tighter crocheting one day, it's tighter on all 3 pieces, so they match up better. Or 2 pieces or whatever. I have learned that over the course of my garment making experience, which is very few items, but I have made a few. But I've always loved the look of just a knitted sweater with all the V's going down and up and down, and cables and things like that. I'm not anywhere near wanting to try a cable. I'm just learning to do the V's and the bumps. So the garter or the purl, knits and pearls, and so I thought, I'm gonna make a blanket. It's like practice for panels for a sweater. That's my theory. So I had some 5-weight Hobie yarn in some different colors, and that is what I'm using. This is Hobie Chunky Amigo Friends yarn. And I had 2 of each color in the blanket except for the cream, which I have 1. And the cream is going in, like, I just pulled for the, I just found the end of it. Darn it. So I'm just about to start the cream color. I thought I was going to do that today. I finished up the green. Let me show you the front side. So it goes the navy blue, and then the like slate, I don't know, Wedgwood, blue gray, whatever, and then green, and then I'm gonna go with the cream, and then the green and the slate, and then the blue, dark blue, and that's gonna be the extent of this blanket. I did measure it at one point on the width, and it was the right size for Boggy Creek, so I hope that hasn't changed. I haven't measured it since the initial time, and I don't have my measurer in here. If it's not the right size for Boggy Creek, I'm going to be really disappointed because I really did want to send it. Now, I was all proud of myself that I had not dropped a stitch ever on the whole blanket. And over the weekend, I dropped a stitch twice in one sitting. And it was, you know, down several rows, before I knew that I dropped the stitch. I wanted to cry because I did not move up my lifeline. My lifeline was way down where I changed colors. And now I'm at the end of my, literally the last like 4 rows. I dropped a stitch and I figured out how to fix it. And then the next row I dropped a stitch again. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I must have been tired or not paying attention. I was crocheting around the campfire. We were talking, you know, or not crocheting, knitting around the campfire. And anyway, apparently I can't knit and talk at the same time and sit around the campfire. It was getting dark, so maybe that was part of the problem. I don't know. But the green cake skein ended here, and I still had this much to go, so I put the other one on. This is not going to be like an exact science of there's so many stitches or so many, well, hopefully the stitch count is the same all the way across, but there's not going to be so many. I didn't count the rows. I'm just doing one skein, and I'm ending it at the end of the row. So the cream is going to start here, and it's going to have to end at wherever it ends because I can't add in. And then so if the green on the reverse is a little bit shy a row, and it's going to be a row shy, then what this side is, it doesn't really matter. But I think it's turning out okay. I did have to, everybody has told me when you drop a stitch, you get out a crochet hook and you do something. I couldn't figure that out on my own. I tried. And so then I went to YouTube and I just YouTube questioned, how do I fix a drop stitch on a knit, you know, when knitting, and the knit part, you know, in the knit row. And there was a wonderful woman who I don't remember who she was, but I did save her video, so I will link it in the description box below, because I will probably need her again. And I just did what she said, and you use your hooks, your needles to do it, not a crochet hook. And you like go in and out and wrap it around, and it wasn't hard. And so I winged this one and whipped that one, and I don't have a dropped stitch anymore. But I will confess, I have a hole somewhere. It's not a drop stitch, but it is a, maybe, yeah, I don't know what I did. It's right there. And if I don't pick it out, I don't think you'll see it. I don't know where, there's no drop stitch. So I must have combined. I don't know how I did that. I don't know where I did that. I don't know how to fix that. And I don't think that one little tiny hole in the blanket is going to matter. If it was a sweater, it would be a different thing. But it's a blanket for a kid. Not that a kid wants a hole in their blanket, but I don't think they'll really pay that close of attention. And it's just one little teeny. Don't tell anybody, and maybe they won't notice. I don't really, it's right there. But if you don't stretch the blanket out, you won't see it. And maybe, I don't know how to fix it. I definitely don't know how to fix it. So, I just am going to continue on because it's my second knit project. And I still think it looks pretty good. So, don't enter it in the fair because it's got flaws. Alright. I don't think they enter stuff in. I don't know that we even have a fair that does that in Cuyahoga County. But that is knit project number 2, Boggy Blanket. That's a current whip for number 2. I do have some already sent from last year still, and 2 in a bag over here that I'm going to take to Florida with me when I go. And next comes the cream color. So out of 7 skeins, I'm going to start the 4th one. So that's pretty exciting. I'm excited about that. I am enjoying the knitting process. I think it's relaxing, and I do like doing it. So I'm making, this is the second video today. One was a Happy Mail video, which is why I'm wearing orange, because I got Happy Mail from Laura. And that video you should see, should come out before this one. And then I also have to redo, because of my big mistake, I have to redo my yarn room tour. So I'll do that in the morning. And Tuesday Night Live is Tuesday, so don't forget about that. I don't think I'll put out a video on Tuesday because we'll be doing Tuesday Night Live. And I know the videos are sporadic. It's just what you get. I do them when I can. And that's what I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed my crochet and knit catch up. I do have Pamela's Adoring Crochet project that I'm trying to work on, but I haven't worked on it because I'm trying to get this Boggy Creek blanket done during the challenge period. Hi, honey. During the challenge period. Not that I'm going to enter for the $50 gift card that Jan is giving away. If I forgot to mention that, she's giving away a $50 gift card if you have your completed project picture emailed to her on or by September 30th. So if you haven't got your hook out, get your hook out and get in on that, and get some squares sent in, and happy hooking, and I will see you guys in the very next video. Bye!